This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Beecham to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Our good and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we come today before you as a humble people, Lord. Lord, in search of your guidance, Lord. Lord, there's so many things and upheaval in our country right now, Lord, uncertainty and not knowing, and Lord, just pray that your guiding hand be on every one of us, Lord, and our leaders at every level of government, Lord, would look to you for your guidance and inspiration to do what's right by our citizens, Lord. We pray that especially for our Wichita County family, Lord, that you would guide us as we conduct our business this morning, Lord, that it would be honoring and glorifying to you, Lord. We pray for our first responders, Lord, our military, Lord, and all those that are there on the front lines to keep us safe and free, Lord. We pray that would always be, Lord. We just pray all these things in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take a seat, please. We are down to the part of public comments, and we do have one person who is asked to speak during this time. And Mr. McVeigh, if I could ask you to stand up and come forward, and so that people that are participating on the phone can hear you also.
Okay.
Just right there.
Right there is
Here's
good.
good. Okay. Good morning,
Good morning.
gentlemen. I'm here, I'm just trying to find out my next step, but I appeared before y'all about 2 years ago, was involved with an accident with the Wichita Sheriff's Department when he went through the red light,
I remember that.
and it was set aside, we will take further action if necessary. And I sort of came down here to see what the next action was. It's been recommended that I send a letter, maybe offer a settlement or something, and let y'all, just to get it back, and then if not, I don't know if I need to appear again, where y'all got all the information you need, or if I need to appear with, I found additional witnesses to the wreck. But my truck's not right, and it's been almost 2 years, and I've got to do something, and I'm just not gonna go away. It's the same thing if any of y'all. It'd have been you that got hit, or your wife or something, and the sheriff had run through the red light like he did, where there was a possibility of injury. We came out lucky. And I just asked y'all to do the right thing for the county and restored me too. And that's all I have, really.
Okay, as you and I talked there earlier,
Yes, sir.
I think if you represent that, offer something else, then the court did consider that. We can't discuss it today at all, but if you will submit something, then.
Do you have to consider it in a meeting, or y'all could, if I send it and y'all got it Tuesday or Wednesday?
If you're a claim, we're going to consider it in closed session.
That's what I
To
thought.
act on it, we have to come back out, either take action to approve, disapprove, or no action is another form of
Would I
action.
need to be here for that part, or y'all just send me a letter, say we reconsidered and this is our deal?
You can be here. I wouldn't tell you you couldn't. You don't necessarily, we're not going to necessarily take testimony from you at all.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But thank you. I appreciate your patience with this and your attitude. Really do.
Well, I've had some deaths in the family, some other things came, you know how it is, and this year has been crazy.
Yes, it is.
My deadline's coming up. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You're sure welcome to stay for all of the meeting that you want to.
Yeah, I'll probably be leaving here in a few minutes.
All right.
Thank you again.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Okay. I ask the court to take action on the consent agenda, and on item number 11, we'll need to amend that to allow Mr. Fincannon's bond would be from November 16th, 2020 to December 31st, 2022. They actually made it for 4 years. We need to get that abbreviated and changed, and change the date, since we're not going to do the swearing in until a week from today, after the canvassing and allowing for all of the votes that have come in by mail from overseas had 5 days to come, and Ms. Bohannon, I believe the provisional votes had 7 days. Do you have any kind of a feeling of when, I've got a couple of texts while we're sitting here, Wayne, if we have any projection for when those will be?
They're working on them now.
Ma'am?
Ballot board is there working on them now.
Okay. All right. Good enough, thank you.
And on the provisionals, I added early voting twice, so we don't have 150, it's like 105.
Okay, all right, all right. Those things, with the little sleep you all had and everything else, that's understandable. And,
When does the special election start?
I had it in
December,
December the 9th through the 15th is early voting.
The 9th, December 9th.
And like I said, it's December the 19th.
Merry Christmas.
A week before Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
yes. Or actually, not even a week before Christmas.
I was asked a question this morning on the media, whether we have any recount. We have a canvass, but there's not any mandatory recount on our
No,
results.
no one has filed for a recount as far as I know.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you.
Motion to approve with the noted change to item 11.
Thank you.
Second.
Any comments by anyone in the audience on the consent items?
Yes, Judge, just to make sure I heard you right. So the bond will be only until December 31st this year,
No, no.
22.
2022.
Yeah.
That will be for, was that 2
They'll
years?
fill out the remaining of that term.
Okay. So it'll be from November 16th through December 31st, 2022.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We'll go to item number 2, review and approve the regular bills for payment.
So moved.
Approved, or I'll second. Don't yield to Commissioner Harvey.
Any comments or questions on any of the bills? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider, or take action to allow the Commissioners Court to travel to College Station for the 63rd Annual School of Commissioners Court members, February 2nd through 4th of 2021. Should be today in there.
Motion to approve the changes. It's our, really probably the best school we go to in the year under the legislative conference, so,
Yeah, it's a legislative year, and we'll know a lot more by then.
yeah.
Last year, I may have been the only one who went. Did you
No, I
go?
went.
You went?
Yeah.
That's when we got our CEUs before all the madness started,
Yeah.
so getting them in and getting them early is usually
Paid off.
not a bad thing, and it's a good conference. I think I've been every year. since
I don't want to hurt y'all's feelings, but you won't know anything about the legislature except whether they're meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Towards the end
Well,
of
there's
January.
another legislative conference, and it's in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be bills filed
Yeah.
by then. We'll know.
They'll have, filings.
Yeah, we're gonna know what's in the hopper,
Yeah.
a lot of it, so,
But some of the predictions, as you heard.
yeah, might take a 60-day break.
They don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they mentioned they may convene, swear in, and take a 60-day break. I mean, that sounds radical, but well, right now, I don't think we know it all.
Are they going to be allowed to meet remotely?
Now, that's all still up in the air, and see, they're gonna have to approve. Some things you can do by Zoom, some things are still on the books that have to be done in person, and of course, they're gonna try to relax all that and get it in shape as we head toward the session, but yeah, that's one of the things we talked about at Vernon last week. There's still lots of unanswered questions. Well, and Judge, I believe they said that there's several, maybe not several, may not be right, state reps that won't be in their office. They're vulnerable, and they're not gonna be there. It's gonna be staff, and then everything else will be done remotely, so it's gonna be an interesting deal, so, anyway.
Well,
Maybe they won't pass as many bills.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up, Chris, because that's exactly what was talked about. They said, right, they're gonna be budget, always number one, And how do we crack down on counties? That's always number two. And no, but they actually said, and that's what Drew Springer said at the meeting, he said there's a real good chance we won't have all these fluff, what we call fluff bills that take up time in committee and discuss. He said, we're gonna have to get down redistricting. Now, that's the 500-pound gorilla.
Yep.
And so he said, between budget and redistricting, that may be where the major part of the focus is, and I think that'd be a great thing. I mean,
Well, I think our effort on their budget is when they start cutting their budget and passing on expense
To the
local
counties.
government, and then complaining about raising taxes.
what was the number, $4 billion shortage going in? Is that what we discussed? Because we won't know till the comptroller makes the report,
Yeah.
which comes out pretty soon. Doesn't he do it before the end of the year? I think it's in December when
Yeah, I
he gives
think it
the
is.
projection. But they said then the real interesting stuff will start. But Drew Springer made the case, he said, I'm willing to dig deep into the rainy day fund to move forward, so we'll see. And it's pretty deep.
Okay, on item 3, a motion by Commissioner Beecham, I believe a second by Commissioner Walden. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 4 is discuss and consider take action to approve the purchase of 25 indoors work mid-back mesh back chairs for the tax assessment collector's office from the Omnia government contract through Hudson Blueprint at a quoted cost of $11,143.24 to be paid by transfer from permanent improvement fund to lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham, I think you had worked on that.
Yes, sir. I'll pass this around to share. That's kind of the quality of the chairs that we have in there currently.
Mark, what is that government contract?
The Omnia, I believe it's more of a federally based government contract, but it provides really lower cost than, say, buy board on a lot of these bigger items like furniture. Really no other office is more bound to their chairs than particularly the motor vehicle side of that office, so they're pretty much sequestered to their chairs for the larger part of the day, so they're in dire need. Those are some of the better ones.
Really?
What can we do, Mark, wholesale on those, getting rid of, to keep them from being in a hallway somewhere?
If y'all didn't see the email I sent last week,
Yeah.
I've asked people to stop putting stuff out in the hallway.
If you've got-
Give building
If
maintenance
you've
a
got 2 or
call.
3 that are functional, I'll take 2 or 3 to precinct tomorrow.
You might get 2 or 3.
Yeah, that we could use. I
But,
mean,
but also our election workers. I try to get our election workers there in Burt some decent chairs to sit in.
Yeah.
Carrie Bell, Lauren Munson, you know. So we can always use, they don't have to be perfect, but just something better than a folding chair
Yeah.
for our election workers.
we can use, I mean, if it's torn upholstery, we can
The only
work
thing I'd
around
say,
that.
if they aren't good enough to be continued to be used, then we get the right chairs or have those at least recovered, but don't give somebody a torn chair that's been set on for 10 years. There
Well,
are,
I can't even get Lori to buy signs from precinct 2. I know she's not gonna buy chairs.
I know, but we tried to explain, you can't sit on those signs.
There might be a couple, 2 or 3 out of the bunch that are worth setting aside for things
Yeah,
like that.
okay.
We can put a
But
cover on some of
For
them
the most part,
maybe.
most of them need to go straight to the dumpster.
Okay, and could we add to this motion then that, do you go ahead and get rid of those that are not reusable?
Yes,
Yeah, because they need to go in the trash.
They need to go straight to the
Disposed
dumpster
of immediately.
Yeah.
and not be stuck in a hallway somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
But for our use, we can use 2 or 3 of them, and they don't have to be in really good shape, just the guys come in, fill out their daily reports and stuff, they got work clothes on anyway, so
We
it's not like.
spent a whole day clearing out the 3rd floor hallway at the annex, only to have it full again.
Yeah.
Well, I do not know.
Really?
I guarantee you, I can show you a trick. You go to precinct 4, now they refuse to take the carpeted chairs or the cloth upholstered. They gotta be vinyl. But I can get rid of all those chairs that are whopper jawed
Uh-huh.
and give them 3 weeks and they'll be chairs back in there. Where they come from, they're hitting somebody up or they know
It's magic.
it's magic. I have done that twice and it's reoccurred on me. I don't like them on the shop. I don't like them in the shop or.
I hear you. I was just thinking about our election workers.
Well, eventually, one day, we'll get rid of that organ that's been sitting on the third floor of the annex for
He's not joking.
at least
There
30
is
years.
one.
There's an organ up there.
Yes. Okay. We have item number 4 as stated with the amendment to discard those that are not serviceable for limited use. Do I have a motion and a second?
A motion.
Is that a second? Or either one?
I think that organ should go to the Mark Beecham Rock and Roll Band or whatever.
I've got room for it.
Play that funky organ, white
Where did
boy.
it come from?
All right. Any comment, anyone in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 5 is discuss, consider, and action to approve Hudson Blueprint quote of $14,982.62 for purchase of furniture from the LEC lobby to be paid from the LEC bond funds. Let me go back to item 4. One thing, why permanent improvement fund for those? That's furniture. Curtis, should that be out of contingency fund?
I was wondering about that too, Judge. Yes, I think that would be more appropriate than permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah, because those are not.
they're not permanent by any
Yeah, okay.
means.
Okay.
All right, I'll
Y'all agree?
amend that motion and
Okay.
we have to revote or?
But I think just clarification is good.
As long as everybody's agreeable to
Okay.
that,
Yep.
it's not substantive.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, item number 5, Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, this is just the lobby furniture to fill out the west side of the lobby at the LEC. This is, I'll share the photograph of kind of what it will look like. So it's a series
Is
of,
it kind of,
it's a commercial grade, call it hospital grade if you will. So it's.
Call it what?
Hospital grade or medical grade.
Institution.
But it's,
those are nice.
Where's
it's
the,
nice and functional. What?
where's the picture?
It's
Yeah,
here.
it's
Oh, I was looking at the backup.
It's coming.
What else goes with that, Mark?
There's tables, a couple of oval tables. There'll actually be an oval set of chairs in the middle of the floor. It'll make a semicircle with the table in the middle.
There's 5 different items, it looks like. One's like a coffee table, and one's like a lamp table.
Yeah.
Then you got a circle chairs, 6 of those.
It's really the only, I don't call it a nice thing, but it's the only pizzazz, whatever you want to call it, that we have in the whole building, so.
But it's purchased with thought that it's probably gonna
It'll
get,
last, it'll take some abuse, but it's the quality that it will take abuse, because it's made for medical type lobbies or waiting rooms, so
Is that your motion?
that's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Could they use that organ out there?
You never know what you might get from that organ out there.
They start us a wedding chapel.
Okay, any other comments, discussion on that item? Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the item as stated. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 6 is discuss, consider, take action to approve the Parsons Roofing proposals for storm damages to Wichita County buildings. Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, you see the whole list of our different damages and the proposals from Parsons Roofing. They've given us proposals on everything except for the antenna damage, which makes sense. The only one that is significantly different in estimated value in Parsons' base bid. Parsons' base bid is slightly lower than the estimated recovery value on the Juvenile Justice Center. I would make the motion that we accept all bids except for the first one on the spreadsheet, which would be to the courthouse annex. That is cosmetic damage.
Well, that deal gets big, doesn't it? You run those numbers.
Yeah, and
But we'll get,
the ACV, the cash value of $15,570 in lieu of,
Which one are you talking about?
courthouse annex for the first one, top of the list.
Their bid is lower than tax recovery?
it's the TIPS building.
It's what?
The TIPS building, it's, if you look at the spreadsheet, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one down. The estimated value is 203,986, and Parsons' base bid is 199,000.
That's juvenile detention, correct?
Yes, that's an entirely new roof on that.
Okay, you're saying not accepting them?
No, I'm saying accept that. It's,
Okay.
that's the only one that's significantly different than what TAC is offered.
Okay. So the only one we're not gonna do is courthouse annex, and you're gonna take the depreciated value for that? Is that-
Yeah, the estimated cash value,
Okay.
Which is more than this?
which is 15,570.
And what was the Burke office? Lee, is that the precinct office or is that the tag office?
Well, I was looking through there, and the way they have this, trying to get the descriptions off of this. This, where it says Burke office, that's gonna be JP office and tag office.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's correct.
And then building 2 would be where we vote. You know, where I'm talking, where we have our
Right.
safety meetings and stuff. Building 3 would be my mechanic shop,
Okay.
just to the west of building
Right.
2. And then the covers, the last 2 are just, out in the middle where I have parking for all the trucks.
The
Just gonna get our panel replacement. And on the brand new shelter that we built last year, it's gonna get the roof replaced on it, just our panel. But the other 2 building 2 and 3, they're going to be, they're gonna be insulated in between the R panels, and then they're gonna be insulated above that, and then they're gonna wrap the top of that with a 50 millimeter sheet of rubber. And that building 2, where we vote, leaks really bad. We got 6 or 7 5-gallon buckets spread around there when it rains. It's got that insulation with the chicken wire on the inside, so I couldn't spray foam that. I just spray foamed the walls where we could do. You can't spray foam on top of the chicken wire. This, is, to me, is a better fix than tearing off and putting back. Number 1, it doesn't disrupt the use of the building. Number 2, we get to leave the chicken wire insulation and add insulation to it. And I think it's gonna be really good for that whole facility.
So Lee, what is, if I had to replace the roof on the equipment cover, what would that cost at Burke Burnett? Just give me a rounded number.
Now, the rounded number is,
If you just took off the tin and put new tin on that
well, one of my sheds,
sized facility.
one of my sheds is $27,829. The other shed is $5,000.
Now,
Oh, wait a minute,
which
I'm
one-
sorry, hang on, that's not right.
I'm talking about the center equipment facility where you park and come in both
It looks like
directions.
that's gonna be 27,000,
Well, here's.
according to this bid.
Low one?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, here's my worry, Mark, on the precinct, or on precinct 4. I've got a $3,000 cost there. Now, remember guys, 2 years ago, we replaced both of those roofs because of ice damage in the C-iron twisted, and then we put new tin up there. Can I put new tin up there for $3,100? If it's
Which one
gonna
is
cost
that?
$20,000 to do yours, Lee.
Which,
Mine's not as big and is not as, cover as much area, it is tall, but
What?
Only about 14.
I can't answer that question.
Like that, 20.
which one, which line?
it's the second to the last mark. on the
Building
first-
5 in Electra.
On the,
Building 5.
Yeah, building 5 is the 3,100 one.
And that, I was just trying to get a ballpark cost because that just caught my eye. I think I could re-roof that long facility easily for that kind of money, and then, of course, fix the big building for that kind of money. I just didn't know about the 3,100, if we have to add money to that, or.
where,
Well, we shouldn't have to add money.
2023, it says Route 25, it should be Highway 25, Electra, Building 5, for
Alright.
3196, Mark.
Let's look at the spreadsheet here, Jeff, in your backup.
yeah, the spreadsheet is what I'm looking at. It's, you look at Parsons base bid, that's what they're doing it for.
I gotta find it on here first. What item number is it?
6. Or, no, it's agenda item 6.
Yeah, I'm talking about on the spreadsheet. Storage, College Street, Jefferson. Okay. Building 5 says it's a signed storage building. You see that? Signed storage building, 2023 Route 25. It says, scheduled value 11,000, estimated RCV 3196, recoverable depreciation. What?
Where,
We have a deductible of 2,300.
we have a $70,000 deductible in the entirety of all projects combined. 'Cause this is all considered one event.
Well, I don't see it on the spreadsheet.
It's kind of in the middle of the page. It starts out 011-005. It's called signed storage building.
Okay.
It says scheduled values at $11,000.
So what you need to look at is the estimated RCV versus the Parsons base bid.
It's maintenance. Signed storage, okay. Okay.
That's not it though, is it, Jeff?
Well, no, that's,
That's that other.
scheduled value $11,000 and they're gonna pay us 31.
Well, but that's that building with the back to the cemetery there, isn't it?
No,
That's
this,
not it?
I think,
This
now
is
it's
the
described
smallest
different
building
on
we
this
have.
sheet of Lori's here, but I think that's that small building behind the middle carport. You know, well, one I'm talking about against those Connex containers,
Yeah.
because that would be sign storage, the other ones would be equipment storage.
Again, they've got my oil storage building listed at $8,000 and you can see plumb through it.
But the scheduled value of $11,000,
You've
would
seen
we wouldn't want to fix that building, would we? And
Well,
pay the difference?
well, what maybe y'all need to do is go look more closely and
Yeah.
put this off and do it next week.
Because, I mean,
Does that mess us up? I mean,
No,
see, I had not seen that. I didn't know that oil storage building was on there. I'd not seen that till.
well, it's
today.
called my sheet on here is called different than Lori's sheet here. And I think I've got a better understanding of which one they're talking about. We wouldn't want to fix that.
I said, yeah, can we, when we receive our claim, whether we repair it or not, can we just take appreciated?
Just like that on the annex, so you've got the repair value,
Yeah.
and you've got the property value. So it's gonna be less than what you're talking about.
Yeah,
You're gonna have depreciation on the,
Well,
Damage
that-
and service. I don't think that building's worth fixing, the one I'm talking about, my building.
the estimated actual cash value, the ACV is what you should receive in lieu of,
In lieu of the repair dollars.
yes, the way I understand it.
So,
So we can table it. The only one I had any concerns with the tabling is looking at the JJAEP building, because I was trying to get that scheduled during Christmas break, but that one week's probably not gonna make it.
I don't know where it is.
Okay, let me figure out which one that is on there.
Is it building 1, 2, 3, or 4? It's gonna have to be probably building 2. It's the highest priced.
yeah, my little deal's not gonna skew it, never really make any difference whichever way we go.
It's the Juvenile Justice Center, $104,000 claim. But
Well, I thought you were talking about JJAEP on Jefferson Street.
No.
No, Wichita Street. 104,000 on,
Fourteen,
this,
Burnett Building.
what's
Yeah,
on the agenda is not, apparently not lining up exactly with the
Right.
spreadsheet.
Yeah,
So that's
something's
why I'm
off.
confused. That's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down.
address is 410.
410 Wichita. We go ahead and approve that, and
410 Wichita
It says 410 Burnett.
building. Yeah, 410 Burkburnett Road, which is really the old Burkburnett Road. Building 1, where you get Wichita Street.
don't look at the agenda.
Oh,
Look at the spreadsheet. The
This
agenda's
place
wrong.
is Wichita Street, this is the place, and actually that'd be MLK right there.
Yeah. The spreadsheet is correct. The Juvenile Services Building, school.
Now,
I would make the motion to approve Juvenile Justice School Parsons bid at $104,877.91 and table the remainder of the hail damage claim until next week.
Second.
I guess we had to, well, we've already accepted tax proposal, so.
Okay, so your motion is that on this, accept repairs to the building at
410 Wichita.
410. That's 104,000.
877.91. That way,
That's the JJAEP.
the JJAEP building. That one is,
it's identified on this spreadsheet as Juvenile Services School.
No, that's
Yeah.
wrong.
I know, but that's what it's identified,
Well,
well, that's the name that TAC gave them when they walked the property, so just going with the name TAC gave them.
so you're gonna do that and accept damages,
at the annex.
And
Scott Street Annex.
not accept Scott Street Annex.
Well, you're gonna accept the 15.
Accept the 15. We've already done that from TAC. I don't think we have to take action on that. We've already received the check. We're accepting Parsons building right now.
All right.
I don't see any other reason why we should hold off on the county clerk storage and the juvenile justice center as well. This county clerk storage building is leaking,
Okay.
so that is for 34,327.94.
34,397.
327.94.
47, and what was the last?
94. And the other building, the Juvenile Justice Center at 510 Lamar, it's $199,608.95.
You said 199.
$199,608.95. Accept those and then revisit the remainder. I have no problem with that. I can get them on the schedule with those. Those are our bigger concerns.
And next week. Because what they want to do is they want to try to, I'm sure, get up here and, marshal one setup on all of it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Any comments, questions, anyone at all?
I have a question, Ben. So Parsons Roofing, where are they at?
Waco.
They're out of Waco?
Yeah.
Waco, Dallas? Okay. I'm just curious where they were from.
They have been around a while. They have worked with Texas Association of Counties Insurance. They've approved them. We looked at 3 different opportunities back when that was coming about, and Parsons had the best offer, and we worked with them. And they were well recommended by the Texas Association of Counties, who we have our insurance with.
But and just in the discussion quickly, Judge, is there a cost here? Is there a cost that we have to?
Our overall deductible is $70,000. We'll have to pay $70,000 toward all these claims.
Well, I got you, but for example, my building, if it's staged to cost $11,000, I'm going to receive $3,100. What about that difference?
Valued at $11,000.
It's valued at $11,000.
They're only gonna do $3,100 for the work to an $11,000 building. It's the roof. They
So
just can put the
it's
roof on.
not going to require additional cash.
No, in talking with TAC, if we get into this and we find additional damages, we will file
Address them,
additional
okay,
claim toward it. It's an open claim right now.
okay. I just didn't want to get into
But
that.
as you take the spread of this, whether you take the repair or you take the damage value, then we will take all that added up, and a prorated amount of that will come, well, I thought it was $75,000.
$75,000, yeah.
Out of the deductible. So it would be a little less than that, same way
Okay.
as the annex value is gonna be less than the 15.
Okay,
But if you do not repair, you just
Then
take the
you're not
cash,
covered.
you are not covered for future damage.
right.
But the only reason not to accept the courthouse annex is because it's cosmetic damage. That if we ever replace the roof, all that's gonna be replaced at that time, we just have to pay for it. And we can use that toward other work that's way much more needed than cosmetic repair.
Yeah, it's never gonna hail again, so.
Right.
All right, I think that's the motion, is to take care of those three.
Okay, I'll read that. So, okay, we are voting to accept repairs of $104,877.91 for the JJAP at 410 Wichita Street, and to accept the repairs to the county Clerk storage building, $34,327.94, and 510 Lamar for $199,608.95. And then review the other damages for next week.
Correct.
Judge, all the buildings in Burke, they're all acceptable. There's no question there. They're good to go.
Well, let's hold up though, Lee, and do them all.
Okay,
Okay.
take a look at it, be sure you got the right building, you're getting the right thing on. We'll do that next week. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Muller. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Okay, item number 7 is to receive an update on law enforcement center, Commissioner Beecham.
Things continue. If you go into the jail side now, it's starting to really look like something. The ceiling's being put in, lights are on now, and the far south pods, so it's starting to finish out. Taking care of the little nitnoid things in the punch list in the front part of the building. Still, I think we're going to walk the punch list again this Thursday. Just walking through, it looks like most of the items have been corrected at this point, so. But hopefully we don't find additional. We did have an issue that came up this past week dealing with the way the showers were installed in the seg cells and in medical that we did not find acceptable. We're working on a remedy right now. Instead of putting in the floor drain and draining the floor, there's actually a step up into the shower. It's a stainless steel step, which is probably not the best way to do that. So 7 inches, 8 inches. So we've asked for a remedy, and we'll go down that road. But I think it's either 21 or 25 cells, don't quote me. It's
Mark, is there IT, the volume of new servers and additional equipment, as well as, I guess, phone system? That phone system there is probably larger than ours here, is it not? Or
I would
will
say
be?
likely so, yeah.
I mean, are we going to potentially have to station a person there, or can they
We
work
have the
from here?
ability to, there's an office there for IT, so we could leave somebody there full-time in reality. The thing about the way it's set up now with the closed loop system, if you will, is we have double redundancy and backup capabilities from this building to that building and vice versa. If we go down here, we pick up there. We've created a closed loop system when it's all said and done. So
But we
really
may
doesn't
have to send
matter.
someone to work there every day.
In reality, it probably will have one of them stationed out there. Because there is a lot of IT in that building.
Right. Well, I just wondered about that. But there, you did make room with the
There's an
area.
office, there's an office off of that main hall right across from the training room where the main server room is right behind it.
Right.
So there's an office and a work area.
You think that new building's gonna be as technologically advanced as it should be at this time? Are we gonna be able to say, Alexa, open in cell 1?
No.
We're gonna have very similar.
That's what
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
getting at. It's
from the-
gonna be,
From the control room.
yeah.
The control room controls everything electronically.
Yeah.
Every door in the secure area, the gates outside, everything will be controlled from the
Yeah.
main control room. Each pod will have its own control for all the doors, all the plumbing fixtures, all the lighting, everything is controlled.
Now, Mark, that function, what Lee's talking about or what you mentioned there, that's really not an IT function though, right? I mean, if we had something that control room tried to open pod 7 and it didn't open, we really wouldn't call IT for
That's
that.
building automation. We'd have to call our building automation team, which our IT folks are working with.
Okay,
Uh,
so they do have some familiarity
They are,
with
they were,
it. Okay.
they've actually gone to Cornerstone in Wisconsin, or not Cornerstone. They've gone to Wisconsin to work with our building automation and
Okay.
control security team.
Okay,
And have actually trained on our equipment in there
that
in
seems
Wisconsin.
smart, yeah,
They've actually, the actual equipment that will be installed in our facility.
okay.
So they put it together in a mock-up situation and worked with it already.
Good.
Our IT and our jail staff are.
Well,
seeing
and
it.
that was something that I never asked in all the tours that we took leading up to this. I mean, is that something that occurs from periodically where controls don't respond as they should?
Yeah, I'm
for
sure,
whatever
yeah, I mean,
reason.
yeah, there will be, they're electronic, they're gonna fail, and we'll have to have our maintenance staff up to par. They will get training from Cornerstone. There's a lot of elements to
Yeah.
both the security and the building automation side.
That's gonna be nice.
It's quite a technological jump for us from the Radio Shack relays out now to touchscreens, so. It's something the community can be proud of. It'll last us hopefully for the next 50, 75 years or longer.
Have you decided how you're gonna keep that diesel fresh? You rotate it out every 6 months, or what are you gonna do?
I still think we need to put a pump on it and use it to fill up generators and stuff, so, and just keep it circulated.
Can you have them come and retrieve it and replace it? Have we
I
thought
don't
about that?
know, I don't know if that's a. that'd be
Did
a-
they do that, Barry?
Well, in this day and
Yeah,
time,
but you just,
They would if we paid them to do it.
they'll do anything you pay them for.
Exactly.
But I would say you keep a lesser quantity in there, we don't put 7,500 gallons in there. And I realize there's a certain amount of gamble to that,
Well, I think we keep 24
Play
hours
the
worked
market,
in
yes.
there, and
you might be right.
we should be able to mobilize within 24 hours.
That, or tell you what we really need to find out before we do anything, and there are some people around that can do this, tell you exactly what treatment regimen you need to go through and what they would suggest is a shelf life. And that does make a big difference.
Yeah, when they start handing over the warranty documents and the building documents for us to maintain,
Yeah,
we'll ask all those questions at that point.
there are
What's the
people that
best?
can answer that, and, I mean, there's no need in doing it in X number of months if it's really good for a year and a half, you know,
Yeah.
we need to find that, we need to know the real number. It's gonna vary on where the tanks are, whether they're shaded or direct sunlight, all that's gonna make a difference.
They're pretty much in direct sunlight.
Yeah,
Do those generators run on DEF as well?
I'd assume the new ones will.
Oh,
I don't
heavens.
think you
Now,
can.
that's a whole different story
You
right
can't
there.
have a diesel engine above a certain horsepower and not run it, that I know of.
And DEF can't see a big temperature swing,
Oh,
kills it.
Dad's tougher than diesel.
Yep, big time.
You gotta really be careful with it. And all it is liquid fertilizer, but it changes form very quickly.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have a
We really
maintenance
need
schedule and run that thing.
I'll see if I can find somebody that really is certified in that. I think.
I bet Harris Pate can do it.
I wasn't thinking about Harrison.
Because he can do a lot of things.
I certainly don't want to buy a replacement generator for
No.
any point.
No.
Even injection pump, you don't even.
Yeah,
want to do
no,
that.
That's
no.
Can a circulating pump solve
Yeah.
some of that?
let me see if I can find us somebody that's really, there are people that know and do that, and we need to talk to them about DEF and about diesel and get a definitive answer. And then we can build a program to work around that.
Likely,
It may not be as bad as we think, but we know it's gonna take some diligence, we just don't know.
Yeah,
what
and there's
level.
gotta be others that are utilizing.
It's not the first 7,500 gallon tank that's been set.
No.
no,
No,
but,
Probably don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No.
I don't think we do, that's why.
but
we
we're
need
not
to-
going to suck through that 7,500 gallons of fuel in a year running it on just regular fire up maintenance.
Do they run a 24-hour test, or?
I think it's.
I've heard that conversation,
I don't
but
think they run a
know.
24-hour
I
test.
think it's a 2-hour test, isn't it?
It could be a 2-hour test. There's some duration though that
I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew. I know they
think it's
test
2 hours.
so-
Jail standards require a certain amount of time. I don't
Yeah.
recall what that is.
there is a number, but I don't know what it is. Well, let's get us, let me see if I can find somebody to get us.
Well, it's a whole new twist with us having, that size. We don't have a generator running DEF today.
Oh, no.
Correct.
No, they're prior to that. Yeah, they're good.
And we're honest, we don't know that it's got DEF on it or
No,
not. There's
it could be.
some big industrial motors that don't require DEF, so.
I'll bet you it does.
All right. Anyone in the audience, anything come up? Yes, sir, Mr. Hampton.
Distinguished court, yes, I wanted to, first of all, brag on Sherry and Sonia on the shots last week. I had my shot. My doctor told me because of my age, and of course I fired him, that I should get a flu shot this year. I went out to the LEC, we call it now. And anyway, the sheriff's thought it was well organized, got us in, got us out. That's a lot of work to do that sort of thing, especially when you don't do it every day, and so those two should be commended. This Wednesday is Veterans Day, which is one of my important days in my life. It reminds me of old friends, especially David Brugman, who got himself killed in Vietnam, overrun by that so-called McNamara line, which was impregnable, and they were on him before they even knew that they were in the vicinity. Saying Mr. McNamara was in what party? And of course, my favorite veteran is, of course, Field Grade Officer Air Force Willie Wall, who celebrates his birthday Friday. And 39 is what Willie told me last Friday.
He did get dyslexia.
Check his I-9.
Yeah.
At least.
But, and lastly, I want to make sure this goes in the minutes. I want to personally thank Commissioner Harvey for all he's been to my department. I've been department head now for 17 years. And Commissioner Harvey's seen the value of the Treasurer's Department in the county from the get-go. He's been an asset to me and my office, and I appreciate your help, your consideration, and the things that you've helped me with, and especially looked after the ladies in my office, and I appreciate you very much.
Well, I appreciate that too, Bob.
Anyone else? Okay, Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, while we're handing out thank yous, I'd like to say thanks to Lori and her staff, and all the elections folks. Y'all put in a yeoman's task last week, and if no one else says thank you, I say thank you. With having to change a location in midstream, dealing with printer problems,
And she keeps her wits about her, Mark, the whole time too. I
did.
appreciate that.
No, not 100%.
she did good.
We have moments,
Short ones.
Yeah, just the level of pressure that most people just do not understand what you go through, what your staff goes through in the weeks leading up to and then during the election week. All you have to do is come in there and watch. And it's impressive, the level of work that y'all put into that. And particularly being handed another election on top of it and one immediately after is no fun either. But
Thank you, I appreciate
y'all
it.
handled it gracefully. Thank you.
And all the complaints that they get, Mark, about when we're doing the special election for the 30th, man come up here mad as can be because these idiots sent out a ballot that didn't have President Trump on it.
Oh,
Excuse me,
you walk in
that's
there,
the next election, you know.
for the last 2 weeks, phone was nonstop.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could not set the phone down.
It was
It was
ringing.
ringing as soon as the receiver hit the hook. It's just, again, hats off and tell all your workers, thank you from me, all the way down. And thank you, Lee, for everything you've done for Wichita County.
Oh, it's all good, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey?
A good friend of mine, Randy Clement, lost his brother at 3 o'clock Friday morning. Healthy as can be, runner, like you. Got up to go in the restroom about 3 o'clock, and got back in bed and grabbed his chest and immediately passed out, and nobody could revive him. It was just shock, total shock to the whole family.
Younger or older?
David, he's his youngest brother, David Clement. Big shock, really. Randy said the best thing about it is that he knew his brother was a devout Christian, listened to Christian music all day long, and at lunch read his Bible. He said he went home, and he said, I know that my brother's in heaven. So that's really kind of cool to not have any doubts about that. Church this Sunday was really sparse. Sunday school class didn't have but about half, well, probably not even half, a third of the regular attendees, and then church was big church.
I think just from distance
I
perspective.
think just the COVID deal, people are really very, very anxious about getting through this, and it's I mean, how many deaths have we had in the last month? 15? 15? Is that right?
This last week,
There were 2 days in a row, we had 5 each day.
Bunch.
It's a bunch. And so it's just something we gotta really focus on. You know, I wear my mask whenever I get out, going to the store. You know, the people are not wearing their mask. You know, some are. But I don't know until we all get on board if we're gonna get her done. You know. So that's something to think about, something to pray about. It's just.
worrisome.
It is. It's something that, you know, the guys like us, we're fixers. When something's broke, let's go fix it. It's what we do. We can't fix this, you know. It's God's got to have his hand on it. So, anyway, that's all I have for right now. Just hope we can just use our brains in the right way and do the right thing. People's habits are what keep spreading this thing. So. That's it.
Okay, thanks. So, Commissioner Muller?
Yeah, several little tidbits and kind of along what Mr. Harvey was talking about on this COVID deal. You know, I think the most frustrating thing to all of us is the fact that there's just so many unknowns. You know, we want to do the right thing, we want to head in the right direction, and yet we don't know what that is. We still don't know what that is, and we're still trying to figure it out. But I did read an article over the weekend that was really kind of brightening to me. And of course, once again, you can find as many opinions as you want and as many different ideas as you want to look for. But
On both sides.
yeah, on both sides. This one really kind of hit home though, because they pointed out that they really suspect now that this was a man-made virus. And it was not something that came in from there. And he said that being the case, it makes it more difficult because it's an engineered virus and it won't, and I don't understand all the science and technology, but he went on to say that it's going to make it tougher to have a vaccine that will absolutely work, and it just, I don't, he gave some differences, and I didn't understand all the research stuff. But he said, if that's the case, he said, it makes this one tough. And you look at what's happening to us, and that's pretty much what's playing out. We just,
Well, I think Pfizer announced this morning that their vaccine was
90-some%.
cleared the third trial and is 90% effective,
That's
which is
good.
considerably better than the general flu vaccine.
Yeah, that's good. It kind of alarmed me though when he got talking about that. He said just the natural stuff for some reason is easier to combat than something that's just been engineered to do what this virus is doing, and that was his concern. Now whether that's,
I saw a deal, Barry, that said that in 2009, Fauci and his team patented the coronavirus.
they did one now.
They patented it. U.S. patent on it.
Well, we've been treating corona in cattle forever. I mean, it's been on the label of the vaccine, so obviously there's been some number, and I'm sure there's probably a bunch of different ones, but I mean, that's been going on forever. I've still got some medicine bottles that's got it listed on it, so.
Well, now, in all the TV shows about that, some bad guy has the vials that he's holding on to.
Yeah, it's a James Bond, it's a James Bond deal.
TV story.
So James Bond deal, yeah.
That's right. I think Harris Pink has it, as a matter of fact. I don't know if she
Well,
do.
James Bond died last week. We're out of luck, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but golly, we need to get a handle on it. And along those lines, I was over there in Iowa Park on Saturday and Sunday, the FFA alumni organization over had their jackpot Virginia Livestock Show. And with all that's going on, you know, you having an event like that can be kind of daunting, but I'll just have to hand it, the folks did a great job. They spread it out. We had an oversized show ring. We moved part of it outside and oversized it and back in the holding pens. Mostly it was divided to families, groups, and they had a route in and a route out, and you just didn't get jammed up. And even the judge was sanitizing his hands several times during the class because he's touching animals and doing all that. So they really did a good job. And I guess my point in saying that is that we need to take those precautions. There are certain things that we need to carry on with because there are things that are timely that won't wait till June, you know, won't wait till July. So it can be done. We need to make an effort. And if there is something that you can't put off, you gotta do it. We'll certainly take the extra precautions to do everything you can to make it safe, but that played out well. They did a great job. Boy, there's a bunch of good kids in the world.
Barry, I just found out this week that after our Wichita County Junior Livestock Show,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a national show at the Impact Center.
Really?
A national show. That's really cool. And that's gonna bring a lot of folks to Wichita
There's a
Falls.
lot of good kids in the world. I'm just telling you, we saw a bunch of them this weekend and had a great time, and I enjoyed that, and it was a lengthy deal. And then just a quick mention of our meeting over in Vernon last week. Texas AgriLife did their usual great job, and there were several topics that were very, I think, up to date, important, and one of them, of course, legislative session. Most of that's speculation now. And as we said in our discussion earlier, we know we're gonna pass a budget, and we know we gotta do something on redistricting. So those are gonna be the two heavy hitters. And we'll know a whole lot more about the mechanics of it probably in the next 30 days. But they said, as I said earlier, they may convene and go home for 60 days. We don't know. And we'll be watching it closely because there are going to be a lot of important things discussed. It's going to be important to this court. Certainly going to be important to the citizens of Wichita County. And you've got to be involved. We've got to be involved. We can't let that pass. Everybody's concerned about what goes on in the presidential race. And we get all hung up on it. We got people that will only vote for president. Probably not a lot, but we got some. And yet your state representative and your state senator probably has much more impact on your day-to-day life than whoever's in the White House.
That's true.
And you gotta know who they are, you gotta vote that way, and you gotta be involved. And I know I'm preaching, and I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but we get so wadded up on what's going on at the top, and boy, there's a bunch of that stuff down the middle that really matters. So study and, stay tuned, and let's work for the good of the rolling plains of Texas. That's my goal, because that's where we are and where we live. But good meeting, and that's a great way to go get some of your needed CEUs. And as we said earlier, I like to grab those, which will I'll be able to carry a few over into the next year, and then Also, pick up those early ones down there, boy, that sure paid off last year when everything's got shut down, because no guarantee that the governor's gonna relax the requirements for CEUs to stay in elected office, even though you can't have the meetings to get them, so be advised of that. But, and one other comment, and I'll quit, Judge, I've gone too long anyway. Good grief, we need to come up with a standardized election in this country. We need to clean up this mess, and I'm telling you, I know it drives Lori and her people crazy. We move voting locations because we can't stay, and people don't know where to go vote, and they're confused, and, you know, goodness gracious, we need to get some standardization in this deal. It's just all over the map, and nobody knows what the rules are, nobody knows how it works, what the timeline is. You sit back and they're arguing about how long you can count ballots and when they can be postmarked. Boy, I'd like to see our legislature, I'm talking about federally, come up with a set of rules and guidelines and all that, so we at least know what the rules are, because it's very frustrating.
The states won't let them impose that
I
on.
understand, and we don't really want them to.
Yeah.
One of the things, I will say one thing that I thought was very encouraging to me, because I asked Drew Springer this during the remarks deal at Vernon the other day, and I think this is vitally important. Our area vitally important for Texas. And I asked him point blank, I said, who controls fracking in the United States? He said, the states. It's not a federal issue. He said it's considered commerce, and it's the Railroad Commission and the legislature. He said, all this talk about, he said, now they can ban fracking on federal lands. Sure, you can do that. You can ban exploration on federal lands, but he said,
They can put so many EPA guidelines on it though, where it's
yeah,
no
and they, oh, you're absolutely,
practical.
yeah, and that's the same thing with the gun deal. I don't think they're ever gonna gather up guns, but they'll make ammunition so hard to get that it won't matter, and that's the danger. Anyway, I've talked too long. Thank you, Judge.
Judge, when does the redistricting start?
Well,
Has to be in place.
you know, we've already been working on it some, but we have to wait. One of the things that affects us the most is when they draw the congressional lines.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to allow for that in, or if I remember right, we can't have a split deal, that we've got to work our lines so that they coincide with how. So it's great if it takes in the whole county, but you've got counties, they
Divide up.
right down the middle of.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Because this is like the TIF zones. They don't know that it causes so much trouble. Do it right, and you're okay.
Yeah.
Just like the TIF.
Some of it's gerrymandering, let's face it.
Yeah, but
That's
the
exactly
split of
what
county
it
is
is.
ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've got, now, we're on the bottom end of larger counties. But sometimes when you start looking at the Metroplex, and where are we gonna wind up? We could wind up being shifted to, we're the westernmost county in a group of counties in that state and federal district, or we could be the most eastern county of
Yeah.
something going. Then both scenarios have been played out. Or we could be just a little ding in something out of the Metroplex. That we could be brought in either in Tarrant County up to us or Dallas County up to us.
Judge, I had a guy that's pretty well up in politics in the state of Texas. When the 13th congressional district race was formulating, I said, why are you not running? He said, because there may not be a 13th district after redistricting.
As we know
He said,
it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That sure could be the
You and I
case.
talked to the same person.
Yeah.
At different times, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what a number of them speculate on, because they
That's
don't
right.
think it's gonna be the same.
They think it's gonna be different. But Drew Springer did say he'll be at Clay County this next time. He and James Springer wrestling over it, so we'll see.
All right, Commissioner Watts.
Yes, I spoke to Commissioner Muller this morning about the program. I know probably everyone saw the email from David. The fellow's named David Pipkin with those traps. Get that word out to constituents and such over this hog program developing quickly. Just continues to be and you've heard Commissioner Muller speak about it multiple times, but it continues to be a drastic problem, getting worse by the year, and maybe this will give us some asserted effort to eliminate or reduce some of these numbers and,
Will be 6 in Clay County, 6 in Wichita County, 6 in Wilburger County, and 6 in each of the counties that mirror us on the other side of the Red River.
Good.
Should make an impact.
Should make an impact.
And they're on order.
yeah. And it is just nothing to see tremendous bands of these things out in pasture grazing or on new wheat coming up. It just.
Well, what's the plan when we catch them?
They
We
belong-
gotta do something with them. We gotta destroy
They
them?
belong to the landowner when they're caught.
Okay, so it's up to each landowner to decide
Most of
whether
them will
they're
be
destroyed.
euthanized. The market's not very strong for them anymore.
No, and
Right.
Lee, I told Barry, I'd heard the fella here that locally does that, told me last week that fella had brought in 16, under 100-pound pigs, and they didn't bring $90.
And they're dangerous to handle.
So,
hard to
I mean,
handle.
hardly, yeah, it's a big hassle to get them to, that kind of money.
That's up to the landowner to answer your question. He'll be in control of that.
So, also spoke to JB after y'all have seen those rates on the, what he's recommending to us, a smaller milling machine as well as a rock box that may have potential for lease during this lay down time or seal chipping time. So
You recommended a smaller milling machine?
he said, there's a size below that milling machine that we have that little easier to maneuver and get around. It's still big, but it's not as big. That's a atrocious piece of equipment that
And we
we've
don't
got.
need to take a 12-inch cut, which is what those big ones are designed for.
Yeah, and we found that we are not cutting near that depth of road, and so, anyway, I just thought it might be good to coordinate our foremans and get them together. Barry suggested that we maybe try to group up as well, and go down there and just get a game plan. Now, we have been discussing what our objective's gonna be, and I'm telling Jack that we need to hold off on this gravel that's coming up. I mean, are we needing to wait until we're approved on the
Yes,
grant?
yeah, we're gonna need to, next time we bid materials, we're gonna need to bid with the form that goes with the deal. If we'll do that, we'll have
Okay,
it.
because typically that happens for us first of the year.
December, go out for and open in January.
Well, you just said something interesting. What if precinct 4, which has a pretty fair stockpile, bid that price?
Why couldn't I do that, Barry?
I don't see any problem with it, as long as
And
it's done in
that
the
would be
bidding
kind of
process.
interesting. I never have gotten an
Yeah.
answer back
No.
from Alan.
No, we feel like that's probably okay, Judge. It's
Yeah, it's
just
just-
understanding the question.
It's one of those deals that, well, we didn't think of that, that scenario, but we do need to use that form and make sure that's done with all our oil and rock and everything. That's the big deal. We know we have to
Well,
do that.
and it's approaching that time of year where we've got situated to put down in the yard. We put a large amount right there at our facility as well as others, but I told Jack we need to not pull any triggers yet until we've got a clear understanding of what we can and can't do. So,
But Jim Allison addressed that at our meeting last week on Thursday, and he said they're more flexible on that than we first thought when we
Okay.
saw the new rules,
Good.
that they're working some of that out. Now, we'll
Okay.
get the real
Didn't you say-
details, but we do need, it's all gotta be documented.
Okay.
Document, and he said that's the key part, so.
Okay.
Didn't you say he said we could go ahead and start hauling rock as long
Yes.
as we do it off that form?
It's gotta be it's gotta be built to an approved road or an
Right.
approved job.
So we can start right now if we had.
We can, we can all.
Well, Willie,
Well, now I
don't-
say that, we really need to get it on that new bid form.
Yeah, let's watch
Yeah,
it. If
and-
we, once we have the form for
but
you.
Willie,
gotta be
let's
on that
not
bid form.
forget to do what Judge is talking about
Yeah.
and go ahead and put precinct material on there as a,
How soon can we
Vendor.
see
Is
it?
that
Judge?
contract gonna apply to the milling machine rental? I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Yeah,
if you
that's,
look at those contracts, there's no way you can comply with them.
Well, you're right about that.
It's-
Yeah, I would
It's all
say
this
that's-
federal nonsense.
That's gonna be an important part, is that same bid form would probably have to be,
Yeah, we need
I
to,
hadn't thought about
Well,
the
you're gonna
equipment deal.
exceed $50,000 from that supplier on the use of that machine.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. There is still the limit. We'll work some of that out over the next few days.
Okay, you all mentioned going down there and looking at those. If you all are gonna go more than two of you, then we need
We
to put
can.
notice that you're gonna be going and doing that.
Probably not.
It's like going to a school, isn't it?
You're gonna be in a quorum at a location where you're gonna discuss county business. That's an open meetings requirement.
Same as going to school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay,
All right,
that's it.
anything else?
That's it, Judge.
Okay. One of the things I want to bring up for you all to think about, and I'll get this out, but traditionally, we look at swearing in ceremony on January 1st. That more than fills. There is no social distancing available in the 30th. And so what I'm gonna do is make contact with each of those people who have been elected at this election, and talk about their January the 1st swearing in, about doing that probably different than we've ever done. All you have to have is a notary. There's about 4 classes of people: current judge, retired judge, senior judge, can do those swearing in. So I just don't see how, given what we're looking at right now, how we can tell the public to mask, keep social distance, and then we step on it big time.
Judge, could you do one at a time and only their family in there?
Yes, but then you tie up the clerk and Nancy and some other people
All day.
that whole day.
Yeah.
And then you've got the logistics of getting them in and out, but it's just, kids got along without having traditional graduation. I think we can sacrifice
I agree.
the same way and do that. So I will work on getting in contact with them and looking at it. Those that have been sworn in before,
Yeah,
I'm not as concerned. It's first timers,
yeah. It's a unique deal for them.
Lori, I can't echo enough the thanks for what you all done. You haven't finished yet. You still got one more election to go. Thank goodness you do not have a city runoff to do. And,
I was jumping for joy.
yeah, so, but I think what we're seeing in all of this is, it bothers me when the legislature talks about not being able to get much done. They need to look at election procedures. We need to look at how this is done. And I don't know how we get the governor to pay attention to the Secretary of State's office and getting advice on elections, because they briefed the governor, they told the pitfalls, and they were blown away. According to one of the people that's underneath the secretary that's in charge of elections, that their suggestions were just met with, no, we're not doing it that way. And we need to allow, we don't know whether the norm, this is abnormal to have had this many mail-in ballots. You cannot process those if we don't start looking at those earlier and get them ready to run. What people don't understand, correct me if I'm wrong, we're not asking to run the mail-in ballots. We're just simply saying, let's open them and process them. Because it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on what's happened to a ballot, to process it and get it ready to be counted. That needs to start earlier. And we need to look at the awkward thing. If I take my ballot, my wife's ballot, and I walk up to a mailbox, I throw them in the mailbox. If I bring them down here to the clerk's office, both the people on the ballots have to be there and sign in that they're returning that ballot.
That just don't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Let's just put a mailbox in the lobby there at the county clerk's office.
Well,
They
maybe
just
you're
drop it in the mail.
Well, we could ask Bob, he seems to be able to
Pretty good at mail.
to open it.
Yeah, you're really good at mail, Bob.
But the other thing is, in communities like ours, where you put your mail in a box here, and it goes to the Metroplex and comes back here, those distinctive envelopes should be dealt with and never leave and go. Both the request and the ballot going back shouldn't be going to the Metroplex.
But that's gonna be federal, not state.
Well, it's gonna be the post office, which is
Federal.
separate, well, it's a separate agency. It's, you know, but they ought to give the latitude to look at it. And, there are some things that really legitimately need to be dealt with that do not compromise election security and integrity, but simply meet the change in what we have. All right. We do have a closed session posted. A briefing and discussion with Wichita County District Attorney's Office regarding an accident claim involving an incident at 907th Street, Wichita County Courthouse parking area, and Judge Robert Woodruff. This meeting is closed pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney.